And we're back with the Banner Saga. So hopefully from last time you got the vibe of this is interesting gameplay that you can really, approach in a kind of thoughtful, analytical manner, figuring things out that obviously I'm really going to enjoy. But also that it's really, really solidly written. I think the story hasn't really started yet. We're not connected to any of the people yet. You don't yet, as a player, have a real sense of place in the story. But I think you can still appreciate nice writing. And so far, I think we have nice writing and gameplay that is clearly going to be interesting. And that's where we'll resume from. But I think today we'll get into kind of a bunch of the main characters, a bunch of how the story is going to feel, a better sense of place in that. We were also looking at our heroes a bit last time, and I think I talked a little about how, of our 4 characters, I kind of think Maugre's the most valuable because he has the most kind of high shield. He's going to be able to do what he does. He has low power, but he has really good shield breaking. You can see his shield break can go up to 4. And that really good shield breaking means his power doesn't matter that much because mostly he's going around breaking shields. And then our other characters, Hakan and Gunnulf, can do a lot of damage to things that have their shields low, while Ludin can use his abilities to do decent strength damage to something that still has decent shields. So we have an interesting crew here. And I think we're going to really be starting to see how the game feels in a moment here. And I love watching our little caravan. Vetterfell, even the name means bad weather, where frozen wind sweeps in from the bay. So you see our little party, they tend livestock, but most are just men from Strand with nowhere else to go. Why else would anyone stay? We won't stop long. So you see your caravan going and you reach new places and the story continues, and the story is affected by your actions, not in some huge way, not in some but in lots of lives, deaths, people you connect with or don't, who joins your party, who doesn't. Peasant. Buy Hatterborg, that's a lot of Varl for some missing cattle. What? A couple days back, sent word to Strand about the cattle. Didn't expect an army. He looks pleased with himself, until it sinks in that you aren't here on his behalf. Where have your cattle gone? Asks Vognir, who, if you don't remember, Vognir is Prince of the Varl. And the Ludin is Prince of the Men, and there is clearly some kind of diplomatic mission occurring between them right now. Wouldn't know. My boys have seen men up the hills carrying them away. Don't know many men who can hoist a whole cow by himself. Scalfing's out here, maybe. Could they have Varl working for them? Not from what the governor told me. I'm going to take a look around and get camp set up. The peasant spits, his eyes anxiously darting about as the caravan sets up tents. We'll be here no more than a day. There's a silver for any food you've got. For hundreds of Varl? Are you serious? Whatever you're willing to sell. You think of squatting. Not enough room for a couple hunters here. Forget hundreds of... Shut up. Hear that? Where's Ludin? It's faint. Sounds like fighting. And something else. Hakan takes off at a run. This is a game where bad things will just happen and can just happen from the start, right? You could easily have a playthrough where most things go swimmingly. You could easily have a playthrough where things do not. So here's our guy Ludin. And this is the first time we're seeing Dredge. So you can see what Dredge look like here. That looks like a dead Varl up here where I'm trying to show past these 2 smaller Varl. There's the 2 smaller Varl. Oh, sorry, not Varl, Dredge. There's the 2 smaller Dredge, 1 big Dredge. There's a dead Varl over there. Usually if you kind of look around the maps, you can often see little things on the outside of them. You can also set waypoints. So it's telling us we could move one place and then move to another square. So you can give it the path if you want to avoid traps set on certain tiles, right? So if you just click the point you want to go to, it might take you on a path through, say, burning coals. Well, you can just determine our path, and that won't count as extra moves. Spearmen have 2 range. That counts both 2 directly, like in something like FF Tactics, but you can also hit diagonally with it, which you can't always in games like this. Now here, it's demanding us to use the strength attacking move. Because this is 15 armor and we only have 10 power, this is only 50%, but it's forcing us to go for this. So we could power it up, but it still would just be, because right, we're powering up, oh, it's not even letting us power up. But yeah, it's showing us moves can get deflected. Deflected attacks do no damage. If we don't break armor first, our attacks are just going to fail or do very little. And Ludin has fallen. Rest of our team is here, but we may already have a death on our hands. Now, very importantly, I really wish Mauger had the next turn, because I'd like to lower their shields. I was going to say, very importantly, their big boy just went, so we're going to get 2 turns before it goes, but we're probably not going to be able to weaken it that much. Hopefully we can. Now, I need to move closer. And we can do 2 armor damage or 1 strength damage. We got to get that armor down so Gunnulf can hit it. We could also do Sundering Impact, which will do a little strength damage and at least 1 break. And I think that's probably the right choice. Maybe it's just go for armor. So we can up this to 4. Right, and we can't pump up our special move. So I think we want to lower the armor as much as we can, because we're just not, we got to lower its strength or it's going to be smashing through our armor for huge damage. So now I'm going to move Gunnulf up. You can hit anywhere you're touching, so this does access it, and we're going to hit it for 4. That will bring it down to 12, and you know, it can do a lot of damage to our guys who have low armor, but I think this was the most strength damage we could do before it went. Yeah, to 6 to Gunnulf. God, that's rough. Okay, gotta get Mauger in the fight somehow. And Mauger is a shield breaker. We also have Bring the Pain, which both does shield damage, and when enemies attack us till our next turn, they will take more shield damage. That seems good. Gunnulf's gonna take a bunch of damage here. Yeah, Gunnulf takes 4. But Hakan didn't take any, and now Hakan can start hitting here. And I think that will do some damage to the little one because they're touching. And we have Sundering Impact, the Varl special. Yeah, it did, which is really nice. And you can see here how the turn order goes, right? 3 for 3, each getting 1 per. Alright, so we are not in good shape. We have only 5 power. We could run away, but I think we want to do... Let's use Tempest. If you pick wrong here, you could hit your own guy, but we won't. It'll just do 1 to each because we don't have enough power, but weakening both a little is probably the most useful we can do, and we have the bonus impact thing that does the extra damage. Right, they went for a shield. That's nice to see. Now we can bring Mauger in. Everyone ignored him, but that means he's still on 10 power, which means he can't do much to this guy, but he can bring this guy down. Let's spend the extra point to 5, where he's much less threatening. Getting enemies down to, low power is a great way to minimize their threat. Now we can hit this guy, and it will do 1 to the neighbor. And I think at this point we have them all low enough, we're in pretty good shape, and probably no one will fall. And Mauger's in great shape. You'll notice when they attacked Mauger, they did 1 shield to him, they went for shield, and he did 1 shield back because of his special ability. Mauger's great. We're going to go for Tempest again, because it is a guarantee of 1 damage. Tempest does not get deflected, so even when we don't get it through, we'll do the 1, and we'll do the bonus 1, right? They go shield, that hits a shield back, we're in great shape. This is only 1 power, so the big guy no longer a threat. We can take out the little guy here. And we also got a kill for Mauger, which is really good, because if we're going to start upgrading one of these characters, Mauger seems to me a good character to upgrade. Now, sometimes you want to keep an enemy with 1 strength alive. Here, this brings them down to 1 enemy left, which puts us in pillage mode. I'm also happy to get Hakan a kill. They only have 3 power, so they're not doing much here. I'm going to lower their shield a bit so one of the others can come in and give a big blow. And let's have Mauger do the finish. So you can see how a character with more armor and less power often has more power left at the end of the fight. right? And managing your armor and your strength and thinking about to take out that big dredge, right? I wanted to, the first turn, I really wanted to lower its armor so I could do more strength damage next turn before it got its next turn. And I just think even in like these early fights, there's just constantly interesting decisions to make. And to, often there's a right decision. It's not that I had to like weigh two sides there. I think I just came to the correct decision. You trying to get yourself killed, Ludin? What are you doing? And there will be spots like this where the character will be just dead at this point. I was trying to get a shot in between the plates. You never seen a dredge before, boy? What kind of idiot? Break their armor first. Good advice. Where did they come from? We didn't even see them. They were just there. Hakan goes to where Vognir lies face down, so we saw a Varl had fallen. That Varl was Vognir. The future Varl king lies motionless, aside from a spreading pool of blood. Vognir is dead. That changes things, and now we cut to chapter 2. We will have a new viewpoint here, but I think that gives a feeling for how quickly the story's going to be willing to cut certain people. And not in some, like, look at how grim dark we are, but just in a, this is a scary, deadly world where people are falling. So now we're moving to the far east, and we're switching to a character named Rook. Like the chess piece in spelling. Where did that thing come from? That's a dredge with a deer over its shoulder. Shh, stay close. I think it saw us. The big looking dredge. So this is Rook and his daughter Alette, and they will be our main characters. Now I'm gonna say in advance. Oh, our party's renown is kept separate. So you in some games you could make a mistake if you could split up your resources however you want, and you like don't think about it and invest them all in one team and then screw your other team over. I believe that just won't happen here. Deployment happens before battle. Click your units to deploy them within the blue squares. We're going to bring them closer to the action. And you can see the dead deer that it has dropped. And we can also check out the stats of the enemy. It says 9 and 8. That's pretty low. Should be able to do stuff, but if you look at our characters, 7-7, 8-10, it's not like ours are amazing stats. So Rook is first turn. And if you can also see if moving somewhere would bring them in range. Both of our characters are archers. When I put it here for movement, the enemy is now in range such that I can attack it. I think I should. I think there's not much point in keeping distance. I want to hit. Mark Prey. Now, if we look at what Mark Prey does armor break damage, and any ally who is within range of the target gets an attack against it. We don't have any extra in range, so I want to use our normal attack. And I want to hit it, I think, for maximum break damage. Because we clearly can't do much strength damage, and the more we hit its break damage, the more we'll be able to do strength first. Break first, then strength. Now, we were in range that it could move to hit us. It did 2 armor damage. That's fine. It is now in range of Alette. I think Alette should also do armor damage. Now, maybe we want to move Alette here, just 1 square left. And my point is, for the dredge to move around Rook, right? Maybe we move just 1 to the side. Because for it to get to Alette right now, it has to move 1 to the right and then 4 up. But if we move 1 over, it would have to move an extra square to get to her. So I think we do want to do this. She has a move Thread the Needle that can hit all enemies in a row, but that's not going to be relevant against a single target. And again, we're going to go for break damage so that we can hit strength later. Archers are often good at breaking in this game for reasons we'll get to later. Alright, Rook has been hit, but Rook can now do Mark Prey. This will cause, he'll do break damage, and Alette will get a free hit. She's still at 7 strength. Its armor will be down. We'll start to do real break damage here, strength damage here. So he hits for 1 break. She gets a free attack. She hits for 5. Because I think it was down to 4. She also might get a bonus on that. Mark Prey is a good move. And she can now finish it. I'm going to give the finishing blow to Rook. And the reason for that is in the second and third game, Alette becomes incredibly overpowered, and it is really easy for me, as I recall, to fall into just playing as Alette because Alette can kind of solo the game. She's incredible. And I think it would be more interesting if I did not use Alette, just for gameplay reasons. So I'm gonna there's an easy crutch there. It's really powerful if you know how to set her up. And I'm gonna try to not do that, even though it is cool. The stuff she can do is cool, and I will, if I continue this, I will certainly describe as we see the tools that make her so cool, what would make her cool, but I'm going to try really hard not to use her. And if I'm not using her, I want to give other characters kills. Because you need kills to level up. Was that a dredge? Alette looks calm, but you can tell her heart is about to beat right out of her chest. It was. Let me see. Are you hurt? No, I'll be fine. When the dredge attacked your cart, your yaks bolted and spilled most of your supplies. You can see more dark figures moving through the trees when you glance that direction. All that food, that's the last we're going to get before winter. What do we do? Don't run, let me think. We can forget the supplies, we can try to gather more before the dredge appear. There are going to be lots of choices like this. In general, one will give us more supplies if it works, but it also clearly is higher risk to get someone killed. And there's just going to be a lot of decisions. I don't think I ever knew all the optimal decisions. You'd have to look them up or play the game a lot more than I have. I think we should gather supplies here. You can see them in the trees. Are you sure about this? No, but we have to try. Be quick. But quite often when you make a choice like this, or some percentage of the time, you are dooming someone. Alette calms the ox while you frantically toss supplies back into the cart. More dredge emerge, but you manage to get the cart moving again before they can close in. The colossal figures slowly recede into the distance. Yay, we made a good choice. Plus 15 supplies. Supplies represent food and other goods used to keep everyone alive on the road. When supplies are gone, people will start to die of starvation. The more people are in the caravan, the faster supplies will diminish. So, plus 15 supplies does not mean 15 days of supplies. As we saw when we saw the Varl caravan marching, each day was minus 6 supplies. And what that tells us is with a caravan that big, a day costs 6 supplies. With a smaller caravan, it might cost fewer supplies, right? It's going to depend on the size of our caravan, and sometimes you just want to turn people down because you can't feed more than you have. You can see how many days of supplies you have left on the travel display at the top of the screen. Most towns will have supplies to sell as well as a few items. So we're heading back to town. You can see our little tiny caravan in the bottom right. You can't see my cursor on the map. Minus 1 supplies. Morale declined. Our morale is normal. We have 13 renown, and we have 17 days of supplies. And we are headed back to our hometown, where we're going to meet some other very important characters to go along with Rook and Alette. This will be our primary party, though there will be significant time with both throughout the game. Will be the Rook and Alette party. I never expected to see the dredge with my own eyes. What happened in the north? Already, we see more between the trees as we approach our home, and Alette grips my hand tight. We must find Iver. Who's this Iver fellow? You can also make the thing at the top go away, but I never do. In fact, I forgot you could. I just saw that and clicked on it. I think the 2D backgrounds work pretty well here. Lets them, make things look nice cheaply. I think that's, I've talked about that in the F7 playthrough. I think having the 2D backgrounds and no camera control makes the game look a lot better than it would if they had to make the backgrounds mobile. Iver. The enormous Varl in question towers over the men in the training field. He squints as you approach. Already back, Huntmaster. Thought you'd be tomorrow. Dredge, everywhere. Dredge, how did they get through Greyhorn? We know that the dredge were mostly pushed back to the north. That they had there was battles between humans and Varl, and then the dredge got involved, but the dredge had been pushed back. But now the sun has stopped, and the dredge seem to be in places they shouldn't be. Must have broken through the fort. The fighters nearby stop sparring. They gather around you. Damn it, they'll be here soon if they're not already. You hear screams. From the outskirts, people are running toward the Great Hall. Iver turns to one of the older boys in his group of fighters. Egil, take Alette to the Great Hall. Tell the chieftain what's happening. The rest of you gather up as many people as you can. Come on, Alette. No, wait, I want to help. I'm going to say let them fight. Why not invite some goats to join us too? You're asking for dead kids. My instinct is let people do the things they choose, but Iver makes a very good point here. I won't let anything happen to her. They'll have to deal with it sooner or later, Iver. What now? Phew. Egil, keep your shield up. We just hold them off until everyone's inside, and we figure out what to do next. More shouts draw your attention to some houses atop a nearby hill. Things are going wrong. Let's go to the house on top of the hill. No other choices here. You can see the dredge here now appearing on the lower end of the screen. I think that's a nice touch. Sure enough, dredge are gathering in number. Fear threatens to bubble over in panic. How long do we need to keep this up, you ask? Iver shakes his head unknowingly. That's a bad sign. I'm really torn on something coming up here. Turn order. Units move in the order you place them from left to right. This initiative order is very important when setting up strategies. For example, put archers after melee units so that they can stay safe behind your heavy hitters. Drag the unit icons to rearrange their turn order. So it wants us to have Iver and Egil up front because they're the non-archers. We also have an equip, Alette's Bracelet. It can be on any character. The 1 means it has to be on a level 1 or higher character. That means it can be on anyone. It gives a bonus to armor, strength, and will. Now, let's look at our characters. Iver is a very strong Varl. 1412, as you may think of from the Varl we've seen before. Mager was 1410. Hakan was 914, and Gunnulf was 715. Gunnulf had the most power, but really low armor. Iver is even better than Mager. You'll notice he also can get up to 4 break on his bottom stat. Iver is very strong, and he will also, because he takes up so much space, will want him on the front line. I'm giving him Alette's Bracelet. What about Egil? Egil's a fascinating character. He can get up to 16 armor, which is really high, 16 shield, whatever you want to call it. His strength is lower, and his other stats are not amazing. And he has a quite interesting ability. He can do Stone Wall, where he takes reduced damage from every hit. And his second ability, both get a bonus to armor. An effective bonus, meaning attacks to strength will do less to them, right? They'll still can take damage to their armor. They'll just take less damage to strength. So he's a really good support defensive character. Now, we haven't really looked at Rook yet. These stats are lower than we've generally seen, but he is an archer. He has large range. He has Mark Prey, which we've already seen is pretty great. Does break damage, and if anyone else is in range, they can hit for a lot. And he has Light Step, which allows him to move through places where other characters are, makes him very mobile on the battlefield. It's a good character. Now, as I talked about, I think Alette is super broken. Her stats are not amazing here. She has a lot of potential will, but you often don't need that much will. You probably don't need 12. Her other stats, not that high. Thread the Needle is a move that if enemies are in a straight line, you can do normal strength damage as well as bonus armor damage. Puncture damage is her passive ability, which is if her target has lost armor, she does bonus damage. but she can't get it if she's moved this turn. This means archers against enemies that have lost armor, even if the archer normally couldn't break through their armor, because of this bonus damage, makes them really useful at finishing off enemies that have lost a bunch of armor. So she's going to be quite good at finishing enemies that have lost armor. That should make sense. We're not going to be focused on her, though, because, again, I do not want to abuse her, because I'd like to... I think I've only played through this trilogy once in completion. I've definitely played through the first 2 games at least twice each, but I've definitely only played through the 3rd game once, and I basically, like, Alette's just too powerful. Okay, so I think we're going to want to take out the guy. We're going to want to start by taking out this guy over here. So I'm going to move everyone there. I'm going to make sure our archers are behind the Varl. Maybe I'll move up like this so that Iver blocks the other Varl from getting to us. We get first turn here, and their first turn is going to be which unit? That guy. So that can't reach us anyway. So I'll be able to get Egil next to Iver. I'm going to move here. And we can do 5 strength damage already. Again, Iver has huge stats. Yeah. What's Iver's special ability? Battering Ram. Battering Ram knocks an enemy backwards and does nice armor damage, but we don't need it. And I think I'm going to spend the point to do 6, because once it's down to 4, it just won't be a significant threat on the field. And so hopefully Iver can run around hitting guys for enough that they stop being threats. Moving Egil next to Iver gives both of them the armor bonus. It's very nice. And yeah, I'll spend a point here to bring it to 2, make sure it's just not a threat at all. At this point, I'm not going to try to kill it, because all it can do to me is armor damage. Instead, I would like to start weakening other enemies. Could do 2 strength damage. It's kind of appealing. It is going to get the next turn. Yeah, I'm going to bring it to 7. No, it can only reach Iver, right? And he has 16 armor. So I have all the time in the world, if it can only reach Iver with its 10 strength, to weaken its armor so I can hit it harder later. Yeah. So it did 1 to Iver's 16 armor. Iver's great. Now this has lost some armor, so she has 7 power, it has 5 armor, she should do 2 damage, but she gets a bonus because of Archer's Puncture. And I think we will take advantage of that, and she has a lot of will, so we're happy to use it. And bring it down to 6. Now, the big threat is the big guy, 16-11. But we can't get Iver there, so I'm just going to finish off this one. I'm going to leave the 2 power one alive, take this one out, and also get Iver kills, because Iver's my best character. Alright, 3 damage. Not ideal. Now, we could hit it for armor, but I think what we actually want to do is Stonewall. It's going to block 3 damage per hit. I can just make Egil a wall in the middle of the field. Hopefully he draws their fire, because often he'll just not take damage. Okay, they did another hit to Iver's armor. Iver has the Varl thing if it hits you back for an armor. Not very relevant here, but kind of nice. Now, I want to move Rook a little farther away, but maybe we should mark prey. Mark prey only has 1 range. So do I want to run up to this and mark prey? Egil would get a free hit. I think Alette would get a free hit. That should be in range. I think I do. This is a little risky because I'm moving Rook into the line of fire. But we're going to mark prey here, and let's see how much it does. It's 16 armor right now. So that does 1 armor. Egil gets a hit. It was deflected. Disaster. This was a horrible mistake. Not the end of the world, though. I thought it was in range of Alette, and it wasn't. Now, I think I can move Alette over here. It can't get through to her, so I will move her. Hit. Can't get to it. So, but I can do a little armor, and that's all I can do. And it has 11 power, so it could do 3 to Rook here, which is a pain, but not the end of the world. Alright, I'm going to spend a will point to move the extra square so I can be next to Egil, so get the boost, and start hitting this guy more. What about battering ram? We push it back. It does knocks back up to 4 tiles. It does 1 break, +1 per unit they go through. I guess they won't go through anything. Not to that. I guess I'd rather leave them close to me so that if Rook uses Hunt the Prey again, Iver will get a free hit from that. Oh, and because we're barrel hitting, we get free extra damage to the armor damage. Now, I think I want to use my shield move again. Notice I took no damage from the barrel hitting. It's actually a very useful move. Enemies will really turns. Hopefully, here. I went for Rook. Rook's not in great shape. Alright, but I think we use special mark prey on this. We should get into the damage because Iver will get a free from it. Yeah. That was much more effective. Now it's down to 5. Yeah. Egil can just resist that. And Alette can't do much there because it hasn't lost any armor. Could finish this guy, not really important. Let's just lower the armor on you. Again, leaving the thing with 2 health alive I think is really beneficial, because otherwise that turn would get redistributed. It's just hitting Egil. Egil is a brick wall. And now we can hit this guy with Iver, and they're all down to low power. And we can safely clean up here. Iver's a beast. You know what? We're stonewalling again. With just 9 armor, but 3 resist, yeah, they can't hurt him. Very powerful unit. Let's mark prey one more time. This should finish it off. Because it lowers the armor, and Iver gets a free hit. Iver doing all the work. And again, Egil resists everything. Egil, so good defensively. No, we actually still don't want to get Alette kills, because again, I will not be using her. Oh, the horn up top. Every kill fills up a gold thing on the horn up top. Any character whose turn it is, if I want to refill their will, so Iver has 1 out of 4 will, you can see in the bottom left, I can click this, I used a slot, I can click this to use the other, get him up to 3 will. So you can distribute will however you want, or you have some way to redistribute will to characters as you get kills. I just got another gold thing on the horn, and that let me do that. Yeah, let's get Egil a kill. So that was a fight that went really, really well. You can see how useful Egil is just defensively. Iver was next to him the whole time, so Iver had a bonus to strength. A bonus to armor. Iver kept up his strength the whole way. Egil also took a lot of hits. Iver being big meant he could be in the way and take a bunch of hits, and his armor's so good. Combat can be unforgiving. Don't hesitate to change the difficulty of battle if it leaves you frustrated. We will not be doing that. But you can change the difficulty at any time. It will not affect stuff. If the game is hard, you know, never any shame in making it whatever makes it most fun to play. I have no negative opinions about people that change stuff. A black horde is forming at the tree line. Enough of this, says Iver, glancing over his shoulder. We're going back. Then adds, Rook, I'm doing one more check of the houses around here. See if you can find anyone. Okay, let's let him look. We'll keep watch for him. As you turn to head back, a colossus appears around the side of the house. It silently looms over Alette, its face an expressionless stony mask, more terrifying than any roar it may have produced. Time seems to slow as it pulls back its enormous mace. We could shout at Alette, we can shoot it with an arrow, or we can run it at axe ready. Now, when I played this the first time, I thought, shooting it with an arrow, it's right behind her, that seems risky. Shouting at her, that seems low risk. Running at it, axe ready. I don't know if I get there fast enough. Shouting seemed better, so I shouted. Oh, I'm so torn. Here's what I'm torn about. This is a little spoilery. Egil is the hardest character in the game to keep alive. There are so many decision points where you can do something, and it kills Egil or locks in his death. And I should probably just, if I want to click something that kills him, just click it and have you experience that, not like me choosing to kill him. But means I kind of want to try to keep him alive. I don't remember the choices, so I kind of want to try. I remember a couple, but not all. But also, I think the game's starting off by just immediately killing a party member. It killed Wagner in the other. It kills Egil here. Is really a big part of playing the game. But I think now that I've talked about this, we should try to keep Egil alive. So this is to say, 2 out of 3 these 3 decisions already kill Egil, and there are just numerous points in the game that we can kill Egil. But I think we have to shoot it with an arrow. I think this is the only thing fast enough to get her to move. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we'll just kill him. We're going to try. As though second nature, you knock an arrow. Alette is standing directly between you and the dredge, making the shot perilous at best. If you're off by a few inches. Yeah, I think shouting kills Egil. Doesn't kill Alette, kills Egil. But it's either stop thinking, shoot the dredge, or fire safely above the dredge to distract it. But I think going for the safe option will get Egil killed. We're going to shoot. You let go. A second passes like an eternity. The arrow bounces off the dredge's face, inches away from what you think is an eye. It recoils, then turns upon Alette again. Egil rushes to her side. Iver throws himself between them, catching the mace on his shield, and returns the favor, crushing the dredge's head with his shield point. When the dust settles, you can see that everyone is alright. Alright, I think I did the only path to save Egil there. But I do not expect to save him the whole way, and this does not mean I will be keeping everyone alive. But I do think if I was going to let him die, I should let him die without telling you what's happening, right? It's just hard to let him when we do know the consequences. We're going to try to keep him alive. Let's get out of here, says Iver, as he goes to check the last few houses nearby. Rook, see if you can find any more survivors, and meet me in front of the hall. I'm glad I did remember it right, so we can look at our heroes or we can talk to Iver. Let's see what Iver has to say. But if we look at our party, we could start spending renown. Now there's a question. Should I spend renown on Egil when I don't think I'm going to be able to keep him alive? Probably not. You find anyone? A few. Sent them inside. Gods, this is bad. I'm out of practice, Rook. You're still the best character we've seen, Iver. Look, as long as I've known you, you've always wormed your way out of talking about dredge. This would be the time to start talking. Iver clearly has dredge experience the humans here do not have. If the dredge have been pushed north, right, that means they're much closer to where the Varl live than to where humans live. I can tell you they rarely stop for rest. The sooner we leave, the better. They'll follow us until we're tripping over tired women and children. Then they'll attack. Even after we're wiped out, they'll keep coming, trampling corpses in their wake. There's no end to them. How did anyone survive the Great Wars? Ask the Menders. I wasn't there. But I know you've fought your fair share. Yeah, I've killed enough slag for one lifetime. That's why you're gonna save us now. Don't lay that on me. Come on, let's get inside. I really like Iver. I hope you enjoy Iver too. I think Iver is a character to appreciate. Clearly has some kind of backstory. Clearly is bearing a lot of responsibility and doesn't entirely want to. Let's go to the market. So we can spend renown buying items. +3 will per kill. Characters get a lot of kills. You probably don't need the will bonus, but I don't think will is worth this. Also, it can only be used by level 4 characters. It costs 8 renown. That's a lot of renown to spend. We can also spend renown to get supplies. But I think renown's very valuable. We can try to hold on. I don't think this item's any good. This one gives us 2 armor per turn. Restoring armor is pretty valuable. I don't think it lets you go over your peak. This is interesting, but we'd have to be max level for the game to use it. I think by the point we're there, we'll have better options. This is useful. And like, Egil could use this great, because Egil can run up. If he has high armor, he can deflect everything, because his defensive skill is fantastic. His shield wall. And if he's restoring armor, how do they do anything to him? But I still think we'll have better options by then. Level 3, +2 armor. So this is just you start each fight with +2 armor. It's nice. Probably not worth 6 renown. You know, I can get that from leveling up, and maybe I'll have better equipment later. Never deflected. That basically just means moves that could be deflected now hit for 1. I don't think that's very important. +10 crit chance. Crit chance is a 50% chance, or it does double damage. It mostly isn't in this game except for from equipments. It's not worth that much. If you're doing serious chunks of damage such that doubling would be a lot, you're probably lowering their strength enough anyway. So I don't think any of these items are worth buying. Let's check our party. In this group, I'm probably going to be focusing on leveling up Iver because he's great. So he can level up. We have renown to do it. Let's do a promotion. We haven't done one of these yet. Going to promote. When you promote, you have access to new items and you get higher stats, which is to say we have 2 points we can distribute anywhere when we promote up to the maximum. So shield, he has 14 out of 17. We have 2 points available. Now, there's a bunch of places you could put these points. I think exertion, which is the green one, is really useful. It's how much will can you spend per turn, right? So when I attack, I can add will to do extra. How much can I add extra? But I think we should start by maxing strength and shield. I think our strength is high enough that Iver's not going to be our break character. He's going to be our power character. So I think upping strength would be really good, and upping armor protects his strength. So I think I want to start with those, starting with just putting that 1 point to max out his exertion. That said, I think I'm going to put 1 in each of armor and strength. I think that will make him just clearly a very powerful. He's also getting a +1 to both of those. He's going to be a powerhouse. So that's Iver. We can't level him up again. He needs 5 kills total for his next level up. And let's do Rook as well. We can do Rook. We can promote him. And that will give him 2 stat points. Where to put them? What do we want Rook to do? Well, his Mark Prey move is good for he breaks shields and everyone else gets attacks. So despite being an archer, he has a close range tool that's really useful. And if we want that to be good, we could up his natural break to 3. Then he would also be a good break at range, right? His passive is different from other archers. Alette's archer ability is Puncture, which gives her a boost if an enemy has lost armor. He doesn't get that boost, so he's not near as good at taking out enemies that have lost armor. I think he should be our armor breaker. So I'm going to move him to 3 here. That will help his general armor breaking, and it will help his use of Mark Prey. And I think that's a good use of Rook. I probably also want him earlier in the turn order now, because I want him to hit for that armor break, and then, Iver to be able to come in and hit hard, Egil to then go stand beside Iver and make a wall no one can break, and then Alette can hit enemies that have lost armor. Not sure I should have Rook before Iver. Maybe I should still have Iver in front. He's just so much more powerful. But something like this looks right to me. But I think we can make Rook a really nice shield breaker, and Iver is just huge. All the Varl had quite good stats. I think, Gunnulf, that low armor is really low, but both Hakan and Mager, I think, are very strong. But Iver, a little bit better. Chieftain. Rook, thank the gods, you made it. The great hall is an utter din, filled as it is with dozens of terrified families. Don't stop worrying yet. I haven't. What in the depths is going on? Dredge milling around, ransacking houses. The chieftain's wife finds you, pushing through the crowd. They must know we're here. Why haven't they attacked? Don't know. I wouldn't expect it to last. I've made some decisions, but tell me straight, what would you both do in my place? I'd have left by now. They're already outside the doors. Not so easily done. Rook? I trust Iver on this. I think we trust Iver on this. He's got by far the most experience with this, and from his description, staying still does not sound like the answer. Though moving, it sounds like they're pretty inevitable to follow as well. The chieftain sighs, and a deep and heavy breath, slumping. He looks years older. I imagined us fighting back and saving the town, but nonsense. Iver's right, of course. We can't just wait to be slaughtered. Where do we go? If dread are coming down from the north, Frostveller to the west. It's close, and it has walls. Walls are pretty good. I intend to be free of Skoger in one push, nobody left behind. I wouldn't. If they follow us, we're done. What do you suggest? Let me create a distraction, then go. I'll catch up on the road to Frostveller. Oh dear. I want to help him. This is kind of a gameplay decision. I don't remember what happens here, but there are certain spots where you make a call and you get an extra battle. But an extra battle gets you extra renown, and I like fighting. So I want to help. This is maybe me being an idiot. The chieftain thinks for a long moment. I didn't ask for advice just to ignore it. Promise you're not throwing away your lives on this. That wasn't part of my plan. Iver? Nope. Then I'm coming with you. That catches you by surprise. The chieftain rubs his chin, but doesn't argue. From the training she's given Alette, you've no doubt she can handle a bow. Fine, I'll get the townspeople ready. Make your move, Iver. We'll leave when you're clear. So her name's Oddleaf. You may have noticed she has a name. She is now a party member. Like everyone else, we will be trying our best to keep her alive. We'll see how we do. She's no eagle. She's not going to die at every turn. I want Gil with us, says Iver. If something happens to us, I need him to tell the chieftain. Iver goes off to find him. Alette finds you. I know what you're doing. You have to let me come, she says. Don't leave me. Please, I'll be good. Again, I tend to believe in letting people do the things they want to. Okay, Alette, just promise to listen. I promise, she says. Iver soon finds you both. Let's go. Remember, we're not trying to fight them all. We're just getting their attention. You step into the town courtyard, where you already see Dredge in every direction. Iver starts banging his shield and swearing at them. We kill a few, he shouts, and the rest will follow. You steel yourself for a tough fight. So I think we'll do this, and then we'll call it for the day. Give or take. Trying to aim for like hour-long videos. Don't know if that's a good time for other people, but it's a fun amount of time for me to play. Let's look at Oddleaf, though. What do you got? So I believe she has Puncture as her passive. Yeah. She has the same passive as Alette. She's good at taking out enemies that have weakened their armor. And Rain of Arrows is she can set a trap square. And if an enemy walks through that trap square, she gets her turn on them, but it cancels their turn. This is a useful ability to use cleverly. I'm trying to make it work. So Alette's going to be a fun character for me to try to play as, and we're going to move her up a little in turn order. Not too far, though. Right now we have Iver can just hit things hard, Rook lowers armor, Egil runs forward and is a wall, Oddleaf can set clever traps, and Alette can finish stuff off. You can also save over on the left, but we're not saving. Or access, sorry, the menu. I'm not sure if saving is there. I think it just auto-saves. Okay, let's see what they got for us this fight. I really like the battle system to this. I mean, I love FF Tactics. I like doing like weird FF Tactics plays, trying different things. Okay. Our team is split up. Can we group them? I think we can. And I think we want to bring them all together. So what I want to do is make us kill this lone one first. And then after it's down, we can deal with the other two. Or at least get it low. So I'm going to organize like this. Maybe I should have Alette closer so she can do the puncture damage without moving. But I think I'm going to go like this. We're going to go to the square that doesn't take using extra will to get there. It's 8 and 10. Let's check the others. 10 and 15. Okay, so if we have some strength, we can start hitting its strength immediately, 8 and 10. Yeah, we can immediately bring it to 4 and just make it much less of a problem. Okay, that dredge, might get in the way of the other dredge. If we go here, we can start hitting its armor. I want to hit its armor. And we do 3 armor because I upped our armor breaking, and I'm going to spend an extra point here, bring it to 4 armor. If we can get a good hit on it now, we're in great shape. Are you going for Egil? Oh, how pointless. Egil's a wall. Egil will never be broken. Yeah, I'm gonna just lower at 1 here. Not trying to do much. I'm trying to be sneaky in a second. Alright, we're gonna try to be sneaky. We're gonna get, so the only path to us is straight, and we're gonna put rain of arrows in front of it, and when it walks through that, because its only path to us goes through that direct path, its turn will get cancelled, and it will get hit for big strength damage, because she's puncture, so she does a bonus because we took out its armor with Rook. God, what a genius. What a great game. It's so fun when you can pull stuff like that. Alright, here, let's just bring this down to 2, just so it really isn't a problem for us at any point. Again, I'm very happy to keep it alive, because then I can A, pick who gets the kill later, but B, it wastes a turn of theirs that could be going to this guy. And sadly, this guy gets a turn soon. We could come here and finish this guy. I don't think we care. I'm just going to sit here. If we rest without moving, we up our will a point. This doesn't matter because we're already over max will. We start with 4 and we get a 5th from our equipment. But this can be a way to regain will. I don't think this guy can reach us. And yeah, so we'll have time to start weakening it. Not worried about you. I'm not worried about you. I want to do armor damage. Because once it's down to 6, we can hit it pretty hard with someone else, hopefully, and make it not a threat. This guy's already down to 5, not too worried. Didn't even try to attack me. Now, Egil. I'm going to do what Egil does. I'm going to run up here and just be a wall. If someone's next to him, he'll get a shield boost. I didn't put anyone next to him. But I just want him to block the big dredge just in case. Actually, I'm going to put Rain of Arrows here. I think it's unlikely he moves forward in such a way he doesn't go through it, and this can hopefully cancel Big Boy's next turn. Yeah, we did it. Rain of Arrows is fun. Okay. I think we should keep weakening the big one. It's the only one that really threatens something. And now we've almost gotten it low. You don't attack Egil. Never a good move. Eagle's so funny because he's so easy to kill story-wise, and he's so solidly defensive. Alright. Yeah, Iver's our truck. Iver hits so hard. So who are we trying to get kills for our party? Because now we can choose. I'm happy for Rook to get kills. That seems useful. We can go into pillage mode. And I think we're going to get Iver another kill here, just so Iver can level up again. Or we could get Oddleaf a kill. Yeah, let's get Oddleaf a kill. I like Oddleaf. She's fun to use. Archers are good. Yeah, so now we should be able to level up Oddleaf. Also, great name, right? Oddleaf. Good name. One reason, I mean, this is sort of our primary party, but I do find this party more fun to use. Right now we have kind of an overflow of archers, but I think having one Varl and some mobile characters is really nice to use. Having 3 Varl or more in your party, they start getting in each other's way, and it is harder to sort of do the battlefield how I want. Varl have great stats, but I don't like running too many of them at a time. And the other party is a very much a Varl-oriented party, and this is a more human-oriented party where Iver can really shine. You have no problem getting the dredge to follow. Things begin to look dicey, but you're eventually able to lose them in thick woods where they have difficulty keeping up. You climb to an overlook and wait for the caravan to appear. An hour later, Oddleaf is the first to spot them. There, she points to the road. As you rejoin them, you can tell there was trouble. Some people wounded, others missing. A group has gathered at the rear of the caravan. Oddleaf walks beside a covered figure in the open wagon. Old fool, she says through clenched teeth. I should have stayed with him. The chieftain's death hits you like a blow to the gut. You continue on to Frostveller in silence, Alette's hand firmly in your own. That said, we're gonna do camp so I can look at our characters, and then we're gonna call it because we're approaching the hour mark. But I like looking at our characters. I like the stats in this game. It all works so well for me. I hope it's working for you. Oh, and we can talk to Egil. We'll do that as well. So first, let's look at our characters. I don't want to invest too much in Egil. Again, you wouldn't know this if you were playing this for the first time, so I'm sorry I'm not doing, a super unspoilery run. But I do think I'm probably going to get him killed at some point, and I don't want to invest too much in him. Iver, we can't level up yet. Rook, we can't level up yet. We can't level up anyone yet. Alright, so we just have a bunch of spare renown. But we will talk to Iver, and then we'll end it. I hope you're enjoying Banner Saga. This is a game that, really hits everything I want out of a game. It's really a wonderfully designed game for me. I think an interesting world we're dropped into in a way where it unravels slowly and nicely for us to figure out. Characters that are nicely written and speak in different voices from each other. There are some writers who write really well, but every character is in the same voice. I don't feel that's the case here. There's probably more characters than I would like. Smaller casts, I think, each tends to get more time to really be explored and to really have their own personal stories, but it also allows for a story where you are really trying to keep everyone alive and are just not going to succeed unless you're following a guide. And even then, there might be forced kills, I don't remember. How's the arm, Egil? You find Egil just outside the camp practicing his sword swings. You don't need to know how to use a sword, Egil. You're so good with your shield. I saw you taking some hard hits out there. Oh, yeah, I'm great. Or not great, considering everything I'm fine. My arm's fine. It's a strong shield. It's Rook, right? And we haven't talked much before now. But if you want, just call me Gil. Okay, Gil. I wanted to let you know that I meant what I said before about making sure nothing happens to Alette. You think about what to say. Never seen a shield like that before? Iver seems to think you're pretty good. You're protective of Alette, huh? I'm heading back to camp. Stay strong. Alright, we're going to say you're protective of Alette. Well, I don't want her to get hurt. You can see his cheeks turn bright red. Don't worry. She can take care of herself, too. I know. I didn't mean... Easy, Gil. I know what you meant. Never seen a shield like that before. Yeah, I doubt there's many. My father made this. It's solid metal, really heavy. But I've been practicing with it since I was a kid. Used to spend a lot of time just getting used to lifting it. He raises it up to show you. Pretty good with it now. He is. It's the only thing of my father's I have left. Then when my mother died, she gave it to me before she died. Iver seems to think you're pretty good. Did he say that? That's good. I'm trying. Never had to fight anything like Dredge before, but I don't have much else to do, and how many people get to train with a Varl? Just seems like I could be a help to someone. That's what I want to be. Heading back to camp. Stay strong. I will. Oh, and if you need something, let me know. I can do anything you need. Between you and Iver, we're going to be okay. I can tell. I wouldn't be so sure of that. But yeah, this character has more party members that I enjoy using their abilities. I do think the other, having the Varl that have so much sundering impact, the thing of if you hit an enemy and there's other enemies next to them, it does extra damage, and just high stats. Really powerful, strong stuff. But I think this is the party I really enjoy using. And we'll call it here, and I'll see you next time. So hopefully you're enjoying Banner Saga. Again, from gameplay to story, it's what I want out of a game. And so it really works wonderfully for me. And I hope some of that conveys through this. And the kind of decision-making that's very interesting throughout. It's neat to have a game where there's a kind of similar feeling to decision-making in story and in gameplay. that's a nice place for a game to have a shared feeling that often isn't the case. This is analogy, but what's it called? Like the microwave tunnel of Metal Gear Solid 4, where like Snake is going through incredible exhaustion and you're doing horrible button mashing sequence that I would hate in any other game, but it works for me because it feels like you're going through the closest thing you could be to what he's going through, and there's this nice connection there. This is obviously a bit different, but that sense of part of the story connecting with somewhere else you're playing it can feel really, really powerful as a player.